after he tweeted about a lesser sentence for his friend. And in sports, local girls basketball playoff games are tonight. Find out who has a chance to move on. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch, your source for all news impacting southeastern Ohio. I'm Taylor Bruck. Thank you for joining us. High rains have caused a piece of a hillside to collapse in southern West Virginia. A flood warning was issued along the Ohio River while high waters forced road closures in multiple counties on Thursday. This all according to highway officials. A rock slide covered a road in Williamson Wednesday night, which knocked over power poles and caused a minor traffic accident. The rising water levels hindered search efforts for a missing kayak in Barber County, In at least 15 of West Virginia's 55 counties, weather-related school closures or delays have occurred. A water-soaked ground caused a train derailing and fire early this morning in southern Kentucky. The train was traveling through Pike County when it hit a mudslide. The 3 locomotives and 3 cars were derailed and slid into the water below. 2 train employees were trapped on the train for about an hour after the incident. Elkhorn, Kentucky native Rod Spradlin caught this video of the accident on Facebook. Spradlin also captured video of the water rescue team when they reached the train workers. The workers were rescued and taken to the hospital for evaluation. A water intake valve downstream was shut off. A few homes in the area had to be evacuated for a short time, but have now been allowed to return home.
Hello, I'm forecaster Adlai Karwish, and right now in Athens it is 35 degrees, humidity at 79%, and it feels like 29. Winds coming from the west at 5 to 10 miles per hour. So it's been a pretty okay day outside. It hasn't been raining too much, which is quite nice. It is cloudy outside, so it isn't too bad. Taking a look right now, all through southeastern Ohio, you see Chillicothe at 36, Jackson at 35, New Lexington at 34, and Ripley at 38. So all around in the mid-30s throughout the day. We head into tonight, which is 18 degrees tonight. It's going to be really cold outside. It's going to drop about 20 degrees from where we are right now. Humidity at 75%. Winds coming from the west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. There is a slight chance for some snow flurries, which could be possible for now. And that's also, just be careful of that. Also, make sure you bring your coat. It's only going to be 18 degrees. It's the low tonight, which isn't going to be way too bad. And Taylor, it's just going to be a cold night and a cold day tomorrow.
Hats, gloves, parkas, get everything ready. It's going to be a cold one, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
All right, thank you, Adlai. A popular insulin pump used by patients with type 1 diabetes is being recalled. The FDA recalled is for certain Medtronic MiniMed 600 series insulin pumps. The FDA reports 1 patient died and more than 2,000 were injured by the devices. The FDA received thousands of additional complaints. The recall will take more than 300,000 devices off pharmacy shelves. The Richland Tunnel project will officially be underway in less than a month, but at an increased cost. The project is expected to cost the city of Athens less than $3 million. It's expected to begin on March 3rd and finish on September 11th of this year. The project will include a walkway under Richland Avenue between Ohio University's Porter Hall and West Green. The new walkway is hoped to help the flow of traffic while providing a safe crossing for pedestrians. Nelsonville's new interim city manager, Scott Frank, is pushing for safety in the city. In addition to supporting Nelsonville police, Frank said in a statement to the Athens Messenger, quote, "It's too comfortable for zombies here in Nelsonville. We need to find ways to get them well or get out." The Athens Messenger reported that Frank's zombie comment referred to the homeless or drug-addicted people of Nelsonville. A former Ohio football player pleaded guilty to 1 fourth-degree felony count of menacing by stalking Friday in Athens County Common Pleas Court. The Athens News reports Amir Miller was arrested earlier this month for stalking and violating a protection order. Multiple charges were dropped against him as part of a plea agreement, including a first-degree misdemeanor count of permitting drug abuse. Miller also agreed to enter into the prosecutor's office diversion program as part of the plea agreement. The 2 former Ohio State University football players charged with rape appeared in court today. Defensive backs Amir Reep and Jocelyn Wint, both 21, were booked into jail on Wednesday. This after they were charged with sexually assaulting a woman on February 4th at the players' shared apartment. The players were charged with rape and kidnapping. They appeared in court today where the judge delivered their bond instructions.
conditions of bond, no future acts of violence or threats of violence against anyone. You'll stay away from the individual named ST with the initials and stay away from the co-defendant. That means no contact by mail, by email, by telephone, text, in person, and by third party. No communications to or about the victim via social media.
Ohio State football head coach Ryan Day dismissed Amir Reep and Jocelyn Wind from the program yesterday. In a statement, Day said, quote, "I am not making any statement on the criminal charges, but it is clear they did not live up to our standards and my expectations." Day did not comment further due to the ongoing investigation. Governor Mike DeWine released a new bill amid the reduction of distracted driving. The new hands-free Ohio bill would strengthen state laws regarding driving while using wireless devices such as smartphones. If signed into law, handling any electronic device while driving would become a primary offense. Some of the offenses include writing, sending or reading texts, watching or recording videos, and taking photos or looking at images while driving. The Ohio House passed legislation that could help first responders deal with trauma. The bill would provide workers' comp for PTSD suffered by firefighters and police. The bill's advocates say first responders are exposed to traumatic events on a daily basis. Getting workers' comp benefits may help prevent suicide among firefighters and cops. The bill now moves on to the Ohio Senate. Athens and 6 other cities in Ohio have already banned conversion therapy. Now lawmakers are proposing a bipartisan bill to make the conversion therapy illegal for minors statewide. Both doctors and social workers advise against the therapy. More than 20 Democrats and 2 Republicans have signed on to the bill. The guardians of children exposed to drugs before birth are among the group of plaintiffs suing over the opioid crisis. Babies with neonatal abstinence syndrome experience symptoms of withdrawal in the days and weeks after birth. Their attorneys blame drug companies for the addiction crisis that caused many mothers to use drugs while pregnant. These attorneys want the drug industry to pay for the treatment and studies of how the opioid drug exposure affects children. Ohio's most populous county is reaching record high drug overdose deaths. Franklin County experienced 10 overdose deaths in one day. The large number of deaths is forcing hospitals to hold on to the dead. The Franklin County Coroner's Office is considering opening a second morgue. While other counties throughout the state have experienced a decrease in overdose deaths, Franklin County has not. Between 2018 and 2019, the area saw a 10% increase in overdose deaths. Lawmakers in both Ohio and Kentucky may be changing who can use medical marijuana. 2 of the medical conditions rejected for inclusion in the Ohio's medical marijuana control program last year are getting another chance this year. An Ohio State Medical Board committee will once again consider anxiety and autism spectrum disorder as conditions for which marijuana could be recommended to patients. The committee will also consider new information provided on cachexia, a wasting disease that causes patients to lose weight. In all, a list of 27 conditions were submitted for consideration, including one for being a Bengals or Browns fan. As Ohioans work to add to existing legislation, Kentucky is getting on board with legalizing medical marijuana. A bill that would allow the legalization of marijuana for medical use passed through a Kentucky legislative committee. This bill would permit doctors to prescribe marijuana for various medical conditions. The legislation would allow the creation of a system to grow, sell, and use marijuana products. The bill would not allow the marijuana plant to be smoked. Coming up, President Trump criticizes the sentencing of his friend Roger Stone, and Sudan will pay $30 million in reparations to the families of the 2000 USS Cole attack. These stories and more when News Watch returns.
Delicate centerpieces, strings of lights, and dim lighting set the mood for the evening. Diwali is one of the most popular Hindu festivals. It lasts 5 days, each day with its own meaning. The event was attended by people of multiple ethnicities who are most excited for cultural experiences, including dancing and, of course, the food. And over half of attendees were not Indian.
People have questions about what the culture is like, what the traditions are like. I think these kind of events give like a glimpse to the public to what India is about, what Indian culture is about, art forms is about, and of course the food is about. So
Dancing and food were traditions shared with everyone. More intimate traditions were shared between the people involved in the event. Traditions like helping a friend tie a turban or a mother tying a daughter's ankle bracelet provided insight on the true meaning of the holiday.
I believe such nights are really important to connect back to the culture and all the traditional forms, what we celebrate, how we celebrate all these festivals. It's really important to connect back to where we are rooted. So yeah, that definitely helps the next generation to know as well what we are.
At the end of the night, people gathered on the dance floor for DJ night, where all the attendees were invited to celebrate what they had witnessed throughout the night. For WUB in Athens, I'm Zenobia Chris. It is typical for presidential nominees to drop out of the race before the election has concluded.
Usually Super Tuesday is that cut point, right? This is where we have a bunch of states having primary elections. And so if it's clear at that point that you're not in a position to get a majority or even anywhere close to the majority of delegates given the states that have already voted, then it's just kind of not worth your time and treasure to continue on. So that's typically why we see people drop out, even if we haven't voted in Ohio yet.
This year, a candidate from the 94th District withdrew her name from the ballot. The process to withdrawal does not just involve a formal announcement, though.
We have to officially be notified. So as far as we're concerned, that person's still on the ballot and they'll receive votes. The other two people that did it in a timely manner that are posted in the polling locations will not receive any votes. So we let people know that because we don't want people to waste their vote.
In most states, a vote to a candidate taken off the ballot is a vote that is lost and could have been used to help nominate another candidate.
I should mention that some states do allow you to basically say, I've spoiled my ballot, give me another one. So if I were a Buttigieg voter, he dropped out the other day, then I could contact my Board of Elections and say, give me another ballot. Ohio does not allow that.
For WUB, I'm Zenobia Chris. Good afternoon and welcome to News at Noon, a weekly Facebook report of news affecting Ohio. I'm your Central Ohio correspondent, Zenobia Chris. As of Wednesday, March 23rd, there are 704 confirmed cases of coronavirus in Ohio. In his daily press conference, Governor Mike DeWine announced that 182 people have been hospitalized, 75 of which are in intensive care. He also announced that 116 health care workers are now infected with the virus. And as the number of confirmed cases grows, so is the list of symptoms. Doctors are warning that loss of taste or smell may be a symptom of COVID-19. Ear, nose, and throat doctors are warning that some patients who tested positive for the virus experienced only one symptom, a loss or muted sense of smell or taste. As the virus develops, Ohio lawmakers are taking big strides to protect their people. In a unanimous decision, the Senate passed a bill that would provide emergency relief for Ohioans. The bill will support Ohioans as they are potentially barred from work and interrupted in their studies. Some of the services the bill makes possible are water services will not be cut off. It removes barriers to unemployment compensation, waives standardized testing, K through 12, and ensures seniors will graduate. As individuals struggle with the consequences of the coronaviruses, so do small businesses. Some businesses could be facing closures and some people could be without a job due to the coronavirus pandemic, but help is on the way. Earlier this week, the Franklin County Commission approved $1 million in spending to aid the issue. $500,000 will be spent towards keeping small businesses afloat. The remaining $500,000 will be divided into incentive payments for out-of-work residents who complete training or additional certifications for their jobs. Unemployment rates continue to climb. News at Noon reporter Andrea Robinson talked to one Columbus native who is even struggling to file for benefits at this time.